On September 6, 1901, William McKinley became the third U.S. president to be cut down by an assassin's bullet. He was shot by an anarchist while greeting visitors at the Pan American Exposition in Buffalo, New York. Although doctors initially felt the president would recover, he developed an infection and died 8 days later. McKinley had recently been elected to his second term in office. His first term had been dominated by foreign policy issues. McKinley had propelled America onto the international stage and ended a long period of U.S. isolationism. The swift and decisive U.S. victory in the Spanish-American War demonstrated his effective leadership, as did the pacification of a revolt in the new U.S. territory of the Philippines. Still, another foreign problem confronted the McKinley administration in China. The U.S. was one of many international powers vying for newly opening markets in Asia. In the subsequent Boxer Rebellion, led by Chinese opposed to Western influence, many Americans were killed. McKinley attached 5,000 U.S. troops to an international expedition that successfully rescued Western residents in China. As the convention and election of 1900 approached, McKinley's stature within the Republican Party and his popularity with Americans was high. The only significant debate within the party concerned the vice presidential nomination, as Vice President Garrett Hobart had died in 1899. Despite dissimilar personal styles, McKinley allowed the convention to choose Theodore Roosevelt as his running mate. Roosevelt brought youth and a forceful energy to the Republican ticket. He had gained a national reputation as a hero in the Spanish-American War and later became governor of New York. He was only 42 years old. McKinley won the election, receiving the largest popular majority ever given a presidential candidate up to that time. Inaugurated a second time on March 4, 1901, McKinley looked forward to a new term that would focus more on domestic issues than on foreign policy. However, 6 months later, fate intervened. William McKinley, the 25th President of the United States, was dead. Within hours, Vice President Theodore Roosevelt was sworn in as his successor. Justice was swift for the president's assassin. As McKinley was being laid to rest, his assassin, Leon Czolgosz, was being indicted for murder. The assassin claimed that he had acted alone and believed the country needed a change of leadership. After confessing, he was convicted and sentenced to death. 7 weeks after his crime, the man who had murdered a president was sent to the electric chair. This is the actual footage of his electrocution. In the days following McKinley's death, Roosevelt took the reins of power, vowing to continue McKinley's work. Instead, he surpassed it. He reformed civil service, created the Pure Food and Drug Act, improved labor conditions, created a national conservation policy, built the Panama Canal, won the Nobel Peace Prize, and helped establish the U.S. as a preeminent world power. America was fortunate indeed to have so capable a man assume the presidency upon the death of William McKinley on September 14, 1901.